Hey everyone, so tell me, are you excited for self-found mode to come into hardcore next week? Because I sort of maybe am. I'm going to try it, but I'm not great at the whole not dying business, as many of you must know by now. A lot of my Season of Discovery videos had death counts in double digits, and that was just traveling across Azeroth. If you aren't already familiar with self-found mode, it's an option that you toggle on at the hardcore character creation screen. This gives you a buff that, while active, prevents you from using the auction house, receiving in-game mail, I assume also sending, and trading with other players. You can turn this off at any time. One thing I've really enjoyed though is considering the self-found hardcore challenge itself from a gold perspective. Like, how are you going to afford training or your mount? And will you be able to level your professions up at all? And that's where we're at today. I've got a few tips I've been thinking about just to get you started if you are taking up the challenge. Number one then, you should plan ahead. Assuming you are planning to reach the end game, then you should plan already the professions and items that you're going to need. This way, as you're leveling up, you know what to keep and what to vendor. Number two, I think you've heard me talk about this one before. Skinning is awesome. Yep, that's right. Skin. The first chance you get, run his little legs over to the nearest skinning trainer. Light leather vendors for 15 copper. And when you look at quests in Westfall, for example, they give you around 5 silver. So if you're killing 10 beasts, that can be an extra 1 silver 50 copper, which is over 20% of the quest rewards. It also means for those moments where you're in between quests, if you do find a good beastie spot, you can crack right on. Number 3 then, you can get almost everything from fishing and opening boxes. Same goes for chests in the open world, but fishing has an advantage here because it's not usually that deadly. I say usually, I'm definitely not immune from a pirate death or two myself. You find the boxes you want by fishing wreckages. Fishing in Stranglethorn, as example, gets you iron-bound boxes, and these can contain bolts of silk cloth, bolts of mage weave, heavy leather, healing potions, profession recipes, and a variety of greens. Super useful stuff for leveling professions, and also you can vendor the things you don't need for some extra training silver. Number 4, following up from fishing, you've got first aid. Assuming you aren't planning on picking up tailoring at any point, it makes a lot of sense to turn your cloth into bandages before you vendor it. Here then, not only will the first aid skill assist you from a survival perspective, but any bandages that you vendor will have an increased value themselves than vendoring the cloth. The only thing you need to look out for though is that you might need to hold on to some cloth for whatever profession you're choosing for endgame. Even non-tailoring professions often will use a nominal amount of cloth. Number 5, I bet you can guess this one, is cooking. So that's right. All secondary professions are so helpful for survival, and they tie in so nicely with each other for this type of gameplay. You can level your cooking just using the vendor fish recipes. 1 to 50, you can do brilliant small fish or sliver skin mackerel. 50 to 110, long jaw mud snapper or rainbow fin albacore. 100 to 175 is bristle whisker catfish. And then after that, you've got rock scale cod at 175, taking you to 210. For the final 100 points, 200 to 250 is sagefish delight, and 250 to 300 spotted yellow tailfish. These cooking recipes are all available from vendors. None of them are limited supply. Aside from these recipes, you can also cook other things in order to receive a buff to your character. Usually stamina plus 1 secondary stat. My last big shout for you self-found survivors then is the bag that you can get from Darkmoon Faire. So you can get a 14 slot bag in exchange for 50 Darkmoon Faire tickets. You can earn the tickets farming animal parts like soft bushy tails or soft furry paws and handing them in. This ties in really nicely with skinning and provides a massive boost to your character power. On the hardcore servers, Darkmoon Faire arrives once per month on the first week, and it alternates between Mulgore and Elwyn Forest. This can be pretty tricky at times to get to if you're a low level, and you probably want to farm out your hand-in materials before you go. The other reason to go to the fair is that you can get a world buff. I'm not going to read through all the options again, but you can get plus 10% damage or stamina, plus a whole load of others. It lasts for 2 hours. You get the world buff by talking to the fortune teller. Now, I'll pop a little link into the description to the Wowhead guides that tells you which options to say to the fortune teller for which buff. It also has the full list of buffs that you can get. These are my key points to really consider when planning out your self-found playtime. It definitely strikes me as a take your time mode and sounds very challenging. I'm definitely really curious. I hope you found this video useful. Please do take a moment to like and subscribe if so. It really helps the channel grow and keep growing if you do. And as usual, I'm so grateful for the support so far. Thanks a lot. Bye.